Hi, I'm Tessa with Connecticut Sea Grant and Yukon Extension, and today we're going to provide you an overview of the oyster hatchery process. Oysters and other shellfish consume massive amounts of microalgae, and so a critical part of the process is starting those cultures here in the hatchery.
One of my jobs as the hatchery manager is to make sure that all of our oysters have the food that they need to grow up healthily and quickly. We grow 5 species of microalgae here to accommodate the different size and nutritional needs of our oysters at every stage of development. Our algae culture starts with small-scale flask culture. These flasks can then be used to inoculate carboys, a slightly larger vessel, and eventually be used to inoculate our largest systems. Our CCAP system is the largest scale algae production at this facility. It works by continuously dripping pasteurized river water into the top of the bag and continuously harvesting algae at the same rate.
Broodstock are the animals that are used for breeding purposes, and they're carefully selected for traits like fast growth and disease resistance. And they keep the broodstock here on the premises in order to grow future generations of oysters.
Keeping broodstock in the hatchery allows us to extend our production season outside of the natural spawning season. By bringing oysters inside in the winter, we can convince them to spawn by early February instead of waiting until June. Broodstock get water changes every other day over the course of the 2 months that it takes to condition them. When the time gets close, we do regular checks to make sure that we spawn them at their peak condition. We use thermal shock to induce spawning. We take the broodstock from the 65-degree water they are in and put them into a spawning table with 80-degree water. If they are adequately conditioned, the oysters will usually start to spawn in under an hour.
The oyster begins its life cycle as a microscopic larva. In a few weeks, the oysters more than quadruple in size and begin to look for a place to settle. Once they do settle, it takes several more weeks before they can be sold or transferred to a nursery system.
Oyster larvae are reared in conicals. They get water changes every other day where they're graded and separated by size. For the first 24 hours, the larvae get all the nutrients they need from their egg. After that, it is up to us to provide those nutrients for them. When we see an eye spot on the larva, we know they're ready to set. At this point, we'll take them from the conical and put them into a setting tray with microculch. Microculch is crushed up oyster and clamshell that provides the oysters with a place to set. As they grow, the post-set oysters will outgrow the culch and can be sieved off. They will also get water changes every day and be sorted by size. When they're big enough, they leave this facility and move to our upwellers.
That concludes our overview of the hatchery process. Thanks for joining us.